Good evening, everybody. Hope you're all well. Esther Barnes, North Star Hypnotherapy. This is the second live. Hope you enjoyed yesterday's live, which was, the topic was being overweight has nothing to do with food. So if you haven't managed to watch that, I would recommend that you have a look at that, because some really interesting information with regards to that topic that you might find useful. So today I'm going to be talking about, the topic's going to be about what type of eater are you? So basically, when it comes to problematic relationships with food, in my experience, people tend to fall into one of 6 broad types, and understanding which one you are is a first step towards tackling your eating issues. So you might find that you identify with more than one type, and that's absolutely fine. The virtual gastric band approach to weight management is far more sensitive to individual personalities and psychological drivers than any diet could ever be. So if you've not heard of the virtual gastric band as a tool, it's a hypnotherapy. It's a tool for hypnotherapists. It's a really, really effective tool, and it's internationally known. And they've had really good results from it all over the world, and helped thousands of people to lose lots of weight. So it's been really, really effective. And I've written a blog about that on my website. So if you are interested in learning a bit more about that, then check that out on my website, which is northstarhypnotherapy.co.uk. So let's kick off with the first type then, which is the busybody. So the busybody may say things like, I'm so busy, sometimes I just forget to eat, or between work and kids there's no time to think about food, or I do a lot of shift work which makes it hard to plan meals. And also a good one is eating less isn't such a bad thing anyway, it'll help me lose weight. So does this sound a bit like you? Again, if it does, comment in the box, make a comment so I know which one that you are. If you think this is right, this is the one that you are. Obviously, if so, then you're not alone. So these are the kinds of comments I hear all the time from clients who genuinely lead really busy lives, even in lockdown. Some have full-on careers, and they work overtime on a daily basis and are rarely able to switch off or down tools. Some are shift workers who struggle to put a sensible eating routine into place. Many are juggling bringing up the kids with full-time jobs or even part-time jobs. So the stresses and strains of modern living are well documented, and they can have a huge impact on your eating behaviour. From not having the time to plan meals, to shop for food or prepare meals, to simply running out of time to actually eat. So this is all detrimental to our health, particularly over the long term. So some might believe that it's perhaps not detrimental to our weight, because surely if we eat less, we'll weigh less. Right? Wrong. So you're more likely to burn muscle tissue than fat, because you trick your metabolism into thinking that you're starving, and it will need to store energy and hold on to any spare fat. So, eating on the go, grabbing sugary snacks at random times, a reliance on caffeine, boosts from coffee and so-called energy drinks, skipping meals, going all day without food, then binging in the evening are all signs of being a busybody. So that's type 1. Type 2 is the super snacker. So eating 3 square meals a day, compromising of a nutritious breakfast, lunch and evening meal, is a traditional yet effective way to keep your body healthy. so it's a good thing, and maintain a suitable weight. And many of my clients successfully manage to achieve this. You know, they have no problem with food shopping or meal planning or preparation, but they often struggle to understand why their weight has steadily crept up despite their seemingly positive relationship with food, and are unable to identify the underlying cause of their expanding waistline. Again, does this sound like you? More often than not, I find the answer usually lies in a few naughty habits that their conscious mind probably doesn't even acknowledge, namely snacking. So alongside the wholesome food and vegetables, the essential proteins and the good carbs, the super snackers are consuming all manner of tidbits that their body doesn't require. So like a bag of crisps here, a chocolate bar there, a cupcake, maybe a handful of biscuits, maybe another glass of wine after dinner. Any of these things eaten on an occasional basis is unlikely to do any damage coupled with otherwise a healthy diet. But scale it up on a daily basis and we're entering a whole world of hurt. And I suppose the temptation's even more if you're working from home. So that's a whole other ball game with the current climate. Working from home, or maybe you're furloughed, and you know the access to the cupboard full of lovely things is just too much of a temptation. So most of these instances of overindulgent snacking happen in the evening, I find, previously with other clients, when dinner is done and dusted, and it's time to put your feet up after a hard day's work by relaxing on the sofa in front of the TV. Now, trust me when I say the power of television is almost as strong as that of a hypnotist. Even a small amount of screen time can effectively put you in a trance. So your conscious mind doesn't really notice or recall, or later recall, how much you're popping into your mouth. So it's not uncommon for a super snacker to have almost no recall of what exactly they've consumed, or genuinely believe they haven't snacked at all. Therapists call this unconscious eating. Hypnosis can come to your rescue by helping you to put your conscious mind back in control and banish these bad habits for good. So far, is this producing anything that kind of resonates with you? Katie, I've said, I can see that you said this is me. So hi Katie, by the way. Hi Becky. Hope you're both well, and thanks for joining me. So the next type then, type 3, which is actually really common with a lot of clients I find, is the emotional eater. So everyone occasionally uses food as a bit of a pick-me-up. I do, everyone does, it's normal. As a reward or in celebration of something. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. You know, food plays a significant role in cultures across the world, and it can bring an enormous pleasure to individuals and can connect groups of people, maybe not at the moment, virtually. But you may find that you're entering a physical and psychological danger zone when you habitually use food to make yourself feel better. If it's becoming common, it's one of those reasons why so many diets fail, actually. People eat for other reasons than just to satisfy hunger. It's often used as a stress reliever or a way of dealing with difficult emotions, thereby satisfying an emotional need rather than a physical one. Loneliness, especially at the minute, sadness, anger, grief, resentment, fear, and boredom, to name a few negative emotions, can all be drivers that cause people to crave a particular food in the hope it will raise their spirits, calm their nerves, or simply make them feel better in some way. Many emotional eaters will eat even though they're not hungry, eat very quickly, and eat more than they really want to. Usually the food being craved is not exactly healthy. You know, it's sweet stuff, chocolate, ice cream, biscuits, cake, crisp, pizza and pop. And often in very large portions, possibly involving major binges. Unfortunately, efforts to deal with these emotions in this way usually don't succeed because they're not a solution to the real problem. You might find yourself experiencing additional negative feelings of guilt and shame afterwards, after eating them, and even self-hatred. It's a self-destructive cycle of behaviour that may seem impossible to unpick. And I know how powerless clients can feel believing that they're trapped in a never-ending loop. So, type 4, the comfort zoner. So, a growing number of my clients inhabit a bit of a grey area that I could describe more crudely as a middle-aged spread instead of a comfort zoner, as people tend to enter this arena in midlife. But other than age, it's equally about an outlook and a lifestyle. Falling into a comfortable routine, getting set in your ways, and not challenging your habits, being settled in what feels like a perfectly pleasant bubble. Sounds good so far, I suppose. But eating, no doubt, will be highly pleasurable activity for this type of eater. And our comfort zoners will often practice a lot of social eating, pre-lockdown, wining and dining, you know, business colleagues attending and hosting dinner parties, eating out, family, friends. This type of eater as well may have changed their eating habits due to the current climate as well. This may be more prevalent, obviously, before lockdown and everything. So they may not be able to identify any obvious reason for the steadily increasing weight, but without realising it, they are more than likely overeating large portions of rich and high calorie foods. So the appearance of extra fat, usually around the tummy, might seem sudden, but more often than not, it's actually a very slow accumulation from years of almost undiscernible weight gain. So research points to a variety of physiological, biological, and neurological factors that come with age, such as hormonal changes, the brain's reduction in appetite regulation, coupled with decrease in lean muscle mass and increase in fat stores. But don't be tricked into thinking this combination of physical causes of gradual weight gain has an inevitable outcome. Sometimes comfort zoners are too ready to give in to a belief that it's simply unavoidable and there's nothing they can do about it. But I can assure you, this is not the case. So, on to the next type, nearly at the end. So this type, type 5, is what I call supersize me. So anyone familiar with the 2004 film, quite a while ago now, however, the film Supersize Me, will know how damaging fast food diet can be, especially with that particular industry's focus on supersized portions. So I'm not suggesting that my clients are addicted to takeaways, far from it. This notion of supersizing can be applied to all types of food, including home cooking. It basically means a portion control is well out of control. There are a whole host of reasons behind the growth of average adults' meal portions, but the fact is they've definitely grown. Just look at the size of crockery from yesteryear compared with that what you'll find in a modern kitchen. Everything from wine glasses to plates and bowls is far bigger these days than anything you'd find in an antique shop. Of course, having larger tableware doesn't mean we should go ahead and fill them right up, but that does tend to be the case. There was, in 2013, the British Heart Foundation published a report about the change in British portion sizes since 1993 and highlighted the trend for food manufacturers and retailers to produce and promote large portion sizes. So the British Heart Foundation concluded that larger portions encourage us to eat more, and coupled with shortage of easily understandable guidance about recommended portion sizes, it's incredibly difficult to work out how much you should consume unless you weigh everything, which most people don't. I would add a number of other causal factors to this tendency to pile our plates high, relating to common emotional and psychological drivers. In my experience, I've found that habits such as this usually stem from childhood conditioning, such as being told to eat everything up on your plate before you leave the table, because it's wrong to waste food. Does this sound familiar? Or conversely, a shortage of food creating a lasting fear of ongoing hungry. So does this sound like you in terms of childhood conditioning? Can you remember, your parents saying eat all the food off your plate? I certainly can. Sorry, Mum and Dad. So type 6 then. So this is the last type of eater, which I call the sedentary scoffer. So we all know that exercise is good for us, right? The physical and psychological benefits have been proven time and time again in countless studies and experiments. And most people will be aware that the recommendation is to spend at least 30 minutes doing some kind of vigorous activity 5 times a week. But maybe that thought alone is enough to send you into a cold sweat. And maybe, do you have enough time, etc, etc, etc. Again, comment, is that you? It's like that for a lot of people, so you're not on your own. So despite understanding what, on the face of it, is a straightforward equation, this knowledge doesn't always translate into meaningful action. Some are painfully aware that struggle to find the inner motivation to get up and do something about it. Others simply hate the physical sensation exercise creates and avoid anything that brings on a sweat or causes a bit of huffing and puffing. Some people's levels of obesity mean that a workout could actually be quite dangerous and are unsure of how to introduce safe levels of activity into their lives. So this supposedly simple eat less, move more principle is actually much more complex when it comes to implementation than you might think. So they're all the 6 types of eaters. Some of those may have resonated with you and you might identify with 1 or 2. So what type of eater are you, do you think? Again, make a comment in the box. Let me see which type of eater you think, if any of those resonate with you. Or you might be a combination. So when we begin to recognise our type, we can consciously begin to do something about it. If you'd like to know what type of eater you are, just type quiz in the comments and I'll send you a copy of a quiz which will determine what type of eater you are, and then we can discuss it probably tomorrow. And you might identify something you've not even thought about. You might have identified a type that you are that you weren't even aware of. So just like I said, type quiz in the comments and I'll send you a copy of that. So I'm just reading a few of the comments. Katie, yeah, I'll send you one. Yep, combination. End of the day, there's no limit on the combination. Quite a few people are saying they're a combination of a few of those, which is really common, to be honest. So it might actually highlight things you've not even thought about. So it's definitely worth doing the love a good quiz. Yeah, we all do. We miss the pub quizzes, don't we? Definitely miss the pub quizzes. So I'll send those out then. And it would be interesting to know if it's highlighted anything you weren't aware of. So tomorrow's live then will be about managing hunger. So that'll be interesting. So I'll send those quizzes out, and I'll look forward to seeing you all tomorrow with a new live on a new topic. Thanks for joining me. Again, if you know anybody that might find this interesting or useful today, if you could share this live, I'd be really, really grateful. And again, really thank you for joining me tonight. Have a good evening. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye.